Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds. Are you looking for a new commander deck idea?
We've got 10 unique commander deck ideas to help get the juices flowing.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. As Steve Harvey once said, we got a good one for you today. Check out the Patreon to support the channel and help us make daily content. And there's a TCG player link in the description where you can go and support the channel by buying cards you would normally buy anyway. I almost lost that, but I brought it back.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about 10 commander deck ideas that are a little wacky. They're not super off the wall. It's not like we're not going to say your vehicle, bear, dinosaur, pirate, tribal, something else deck. But we're going to do stuff a little different. These aren't decks that you're just going to see everywhere you go.
No, I don't. You'd have to look pretty hard to find some of these. I think they're like wacky. I would describe most of them as a little bit off the beaten path. Cool deck ideas, sort of get the juices flowing to like help you figure out, hey, maybe this is a good avenue to go down, or I like this idea, I'll incorporate it into one of my decks. This is like a friendly little cool idea brainstorm sesh.
Yes. So let's start. Let's get right into the first one. It's Grist plus companioning Umori. So Grist is actually a planeswalker, but in all zones except for the battlefield, it's a creature, meaning that when Umori checks, it's a creature. So we can have an all-creature deck that has one planeswalker in it.
Yes, so we're going to use Grist and as many playable insects as humanly possible. There's not that many. There's like Scoot Swarm, Scoot Mop, Caustic Caterpillar. So there are good ones. You got Mass Vandal, Mazurik's pretty sweet, and I've always wanted to try like Distended Mindbender and just see somebody twice.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of silly little insects running around, but those aren't like super good. But we're looking to be all creatures when we build this deck. You want to make a bunch of insects? Izoni, Thousand Eyes. Well, that'll get you some insects.
Then you could like pump it with like Blex, everyone's favorite Strixhaven mythic. And I think one cool thing you can do is, since you're playing all creatures, is you jam every Elf of Deep Shadow, Llanowar Elf, every 1 mana ramp creature in your deck. So you always have Grist on turn 2, and then you can just build up to the ultimate really quick. And all it takes to finish off the game is like Sir Conrad the Grim, mill yourself a bunch, self-mill, deal some damage, and then just blow everybody up.
I mean, if you're playing a 36 land deck, which is like our average, and you're self-milling in some ways with like your Stitcher suppliers and stuff like that,
yeah,
the graveyard is going to have a lot, and I mean a lot of creatures, because 63% of your deck, 63 of the cards in your deck are just creatures.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot in your guard.
Yeah, so you're going to be able to -5 Grist and just think, hey, you guys take 25. Like, I think we're done here.
Yeah, that's 75 damage. That's a lot of damage to put out.
That's a lot of damage. All right, this next one is actually one of my favorites. We're definitely also doing a short coming out in a couple of days where we go a little deeper into this deck, but it's Ardenn and Silas Renn Spy Kit Tribal. If those of you who do not know what Spy Kit does, it's an equipment. It gives the creature, I think, +1/+1 and all non-legendary card creature names, and it like equips for 2. So you have an equipment that makes something every name, and turns out there's like really cool ways to take advantage of that.
Yeah. So the first thing, I mean, this card is in our deck. It's not going to be in the S-Server deck. So what we have to do is we have to search stuff. You want every single one of those ways to get artifacts out of your deck. There's the what's the 2-mana mage? It's on screen.
There's Tribute Mage, Stoneforge Mystic, Deadeye Quartermaster if you want to. There's Stonehero Giant, the 1-mana sorcery that Steel Shaper's Gift.
Steel Shaper's Gift, yes. So we want to get it out, and then what are we going to do? Once we have it out and equipped, tell me, BZ, what will we do?
Yeah, we're going to have plenty of like janky random creatures to equip it to. So we equip it to something, and then we cast like Sever the Bloodline on our own creature. It exiles start creature and everything with the same name. So you just get a nice little discounted Merciless Eviction, just wipe everything out and exile it. It's like super cool. Evil Twin, you just play it cloning anything, it doesn't matter. And then equip Spy Kit. Now everything has the same name as Evil Twin. That's not legendary. And you just tap it and blow up whatever.
You kill everything.
Well, you blow up any one creature over and over and over.
Yeah, you kill the best creature every single time.
Yeah.
Kill the best creature, untap, kill the best creature, untap, kill the best creature again.
Yes, and Ardenn makes it so that when you throw out Spy Kit, we can actually equip to like the opponent's thing if we want to target it with Sever the Bloodline. Not that it'll matter too much, but that could come up. And Silas Renn lets us not only get Esper colors, but get back the Spy Kit when it dies, inevitably, because they're going to have to answer it. It's the best permanent ever.
Yeah, this deck it's silly. Like, there's nothing more to it. You're going to be doing silly things, taking advantage of the fact that well, one, that your creature has every name. That's the only thing we're doing.
Yeah, Cornered Market says that you can't play things with the same name as something in play. Well, spoiler alert, if we pack our deck with some legends, we'll be okay because Spy Kit says non-legendary, but it means nobody can cast non-legendary creatures. I mean, that's great. That's so good.
It's so many hoops to jump through to get to a point where you almost stop them.
Hey, that's a 2-card lock for every non-legendary creature. That's pretty good. That's like not bad. At Mask of the Mimic, there's some other effects we're going to talk about more in the short, but Mask of the Mimic is 1 mana, sacrifice a creature, search your deck for the best creature that isn't legendary, and just put it in play. And it's an instant.
Yes.
That's sweet.
It is sweet. These are all little sweet combos. You jump through a lot of hoops, but you really got to make sure this deck is going to just do silly things. Don't expect to win a lot of games with this. You can execute and do a lot of fun things, but often it's going to come down to, yeah, I did the thing. Well, that was fun.
Oh, no. Because the thing in question is Ardenn moving Spy Kit onto their non-black creature, and then you cast Eradicate on it, which exiles all creatures with the same name from their hand and graveyard and library. So they don't get to play any more non-legendary creatures ever. They're all gone from their entire deck. They have none. They're dead.
Because he's just a bully. He just wants.
That's so cool. Well, you're gonna be copying it. You're gonna be doing it on other people too next turn. Yeah.
To stop everyone from playing Magic. It's essentially a lockout deck, which you basically do win the game, but this deck, it matches up very poorly against Spellslinger.
I am not scared to lose to this. If you want to beat me with Spy Kit Tribal, I am so on board for that.
They can come with the jankiest Spellslinger deck, and you're like, what do I do? I can only answer creatures.
Well, I can get your Goblin Electromancer out of here. Oh boy. All right, what's the third deck? You might be more familiar with this one.
I'm very familiar with this one. It's Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter, but the whole thing is it's all about playing your opponent's cards. It's things that take and play your opponent's cards actively. The first thing I do when I play this deck, I get Tibalt out as fast as possible. The most effective ones of that, Jewel Lotus, Dark Ritual, Jessica's Wail. You ramp Tibalt out and you just start plussing, basically drawing cards off of everyone's deck. You can play their lands. It's awesome. I love this card.
Yeah, some of these 10 deck ideas are our personal decks, but it's only like 2. Some of them, the rest of them are just like ideas that we had that we think would be awesome. This one Joe actually has in real life, and it's okay to just hemorrhage 2 or 3 cards just to get Tibalt out because he draws 4 cards. You can't stop it.
Yeah, exactly. And so the overall thing you want to do is, even when Tibalt's out, keep ramping. Because the more you ramp, now you can just start playing everybody's stuff more often. Like, I want to hit your ramp early so I can play it and have like 30 mana. This deck is the most mana hungry deck you've ever played.
You steal their Cultivate. You just ramp in the middle of the game and just keep doing it. I was surprised how much Tibalt doesn't die.
Because not only are you playing, my version of the deck protects Tibalt with a lot of aristocratic creatures.
Like Deathtouch and Chumpers.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, you just play their creatures and you don't care about them. They're not essential to your game plan.
Chomp, trade, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just going to keep getting cards. Some of my favorite cards for playing my opponent's stuff, Gonti. Gonti's a commander. People love Gonti. It's a cool card. Praetor's Grasp, that's a tutor. If you get up against a CDH deck by some random chance, you can literally stop some of them from winning. Some of them only have 1 win con. So,
yeah, not anymore. Bye.
Yeah. Author of Shadows. This is a new one. It's really cool. It enters and it does an impression of a Bajuka Bog.
Oh, yeah.
But then you take one of their cards and you get to play it.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And Dauthi Voidwalker, same thing.
Yeah, Dauthi Voidwalker, really cool. Cunning Rhetoric. Wow, this is a weird card. It's like, when you're attacked, you exile their top card and you can play it. That's cool.
Kind of means you're not going to be attacked much.
And I think my favorite one of all these, Atali.
Oh, the vanilla 6/6.
Whenever it attacks, for me, whenever it attacks, you get to cast the top card of everyone's library. Okay, it's so good when it actually hits. It always hits lands for me. Don't be fooled.
Yeah, and if you really need a way to finish things off, if you can't use their own combos or something against them, you just make a nice little Emrakul. You just slam it, and then the game's over all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it fits the theme so well. The whole idea is like, you play Critical Mass of their stuff, and then you play the Emrakul, you target them, and then you kill them with whatever they have. You got Toxic Deluge, you're dead to your own Deluge.
Necropotence, Demonic Tutor, you're done.
You're done. There's so many cards that just end up killing you.
And can't you just Tibalt Emrakul to do it to the next person?
Yes, you can just.
All right, just keep going.
Yeah, you minus Emrakul, or you minus Tibalt, put the Emrakul under it, and then recast it and do it again.
Right, just hey, you're next. All right, you want to just end things now?
Yeah, it is a super fun deck because one of my favorite things in all of Magic is playing my opponent's cards.
All right, this next one I had a little bit of a Brain Blast on when Strixhaven was spoiled, and then we went to see what people were building and got some cool little nuggets. It's creatureless Codie, but also you get to put Zirda in the companion slot because either you don't have any creatures or you fulfill the last part of this, which we'll get to. But what I want to play Fractured Identity on Codie. I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, it could be really bad if your opponents are playing decks that can take advantage of it.
Yep.
But the whole idea here is they all have Codies. They're creature-based decks. They're dead. You're dead. We
no
gotcha.
permanent spells. It's like no permanents. You can't play enchantments, artifacts. No, you have to play instants and sorceries.
Why'd you put Mrs. Mastery? What are we doing with that?
Because if your deck's all instants and sorceries, this is the freest win I've ever seen. You usually don't get Mrs. Mastery when you have like green and white cards in your deck. But now it's just like all of the cool stuff, and you just do it.
Yeah,
Mrs. Mastery is messed up.
Mrs. Mastery is very good. We had to take it out of the cube because it's so strong. The card is just puts games away by itself. You casting like 10 spells, copying spells. It's very good.
Mrs. Mastery plus time equals you win, like every time.
Yeah, it will.
All the time. And then you also get Bring to Light because you're in 5 colors and you can go get whatever other instant or sorcery you want. And then I liked Approach the Second Son as like your instant sorcery win con. Mm-hmm. So you have no creatures in this deck. Maybe we'll make a couple tokens, but we'll just win by chilling with Approach. And you can even like cast Approach, put it 7th from the top, and then cast a spell with Codie, and he's going to clear off like the top couple cards of your deck.
Yeah, Approach Second Son is a nice win count for creatureless decks. You need something. I mean, I'm sure that you would put some sort of like things that when you cast spells it does stuff.
Maybe like one storm card. But you also get, before you go to the last thing,
okay,
you also get Zirda, which reduces Codie's ability to 2, so it ramps you.
Oh, it ramps you even more. It usually ramps you 1. Now it ramps you 3.
Yes.
Ooh, that's pretty good. And what is the last one? You can tell us.
Well, Codie doesn't say you can't play creatures in your deck, so we're going to play every creature with cycling and just cycle them away, which will still keep Zirda as the companion. Yep. So we're never going to cast them. We're just going to cycle every creature with cycling and then just play Living Death.
Yeah. So the whole point is you throw a million of them in your graveyard. It's kind of it's like a Living End in Modern, where you just cycle, Living Death.
We can have a Living End in here too because we have Codie. You can cast it for free.
That's true, but what if it comes to our hand?
Then we suspend it,
and then we
cry.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll throw. You can't really throw a Fate Foretold or whatever that card is in because it doesn't work with Zirda. So we'll just suspend it. No big deal.
As Foretold?
Yeah, As Foretold. We'll just suspend it.
Yeah, we'll just suspend it. All right, moving on to our 5th one, we have Reyhan Sakashima. Now, Sakashima does a lot of cool and interesting things, but with this one, Reyhan says when a creature with counters on it dies, put that many +1/+1 counters on a creature. Well, what if we had a second one?
Well, then it just works twice. So if a one creature with 5 counters dies, you get 10 because there's 2 Reyhans that do it both individually. It doesn't transfer them. So we're going to... The coolest thing I thought with this one is Body of Research.
I mean, easy. Want an easy win? I mean, 2 persist creatures and a +1/+1 counter on one of them. You're done.
That's true, but how about Body of Research? You make a 70/70, and then if it dies, you get
140.
two more 70/70s.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I love that. Like the Body of Research is such a silly card in EDH. I don't think it's that good because ultimately
it's a vanilla.
Huge vanillas just aren't that good, but it's a token. It can be bounced. That's probably
it's even more vulnerable.
It's even more vulnerable than usual.
Like they basically just printed Infinity Elemental, and it appropriately doesn't really do that much.
Yeah, but it's really cool. The Body of Research is huge. The Ozolith. Now, the Ozolith is sweet. Reyhan doesn't actually take the counters off the creature. What it does is it just says, how many was that? Okay, I'll do that many. The Ozolith takes the counters. Whatever counters are on it, they go to the Ozolith.
So we can just... Like, a creature with 5 counters dies, and all of a sudden we're just profiting 15 counters off of it because we got a million shenanigans happening. And if you want to pull off a win, I mean, Sage of Hours, that's like the easiest thing to do ever.
I mean,
you can win maybe so easily that it's not even fun.
Yeah. Sage of Hours is a very, very insanely strong Magic card. If you don't know, if you have counter synergies in your deck, that card just kind of goes off very easy. I
figured you can do something with like Crystalline Crawler and just jam this deck full of more clones with like OG Sakashima, Spark Double, all the other clones because you're not going to have to worry about the Legend rule. So then if you can like start sacrificing creatures to put more counters on like a Crystalline Crawler, you can just go through your whole deck.
Yeah, that's a more fun way. And the more fun way to win than the one I said, where I said you just have 2 persist creatures and 1 counter on them, then you just keep go back and forth. That's not that fun. Way more fun. Simic Ascendancy. Now do that exact same combo, and then try and untap.
and then just chill. Just chill for a bit.
Simic Ascendancy is cool because I like upkeep when the game triggers. It gives people time to answer and respond. The only annoying interaction that with like something like Simic Ascendancy is Teferi's protectioning out, then it can be
Like,
lame.
good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Stop me. Do it.
I dare you.
I dare you.
This next one is a deck we built a long time ago for a patron for a commander tune-up. It's Active Treason Tribal, featuring the commander of Tariel, Reckoner of Souls, I believe it is called.
Yes. So the reason we picked Tariel as this commander is like, well, you want to be taking all your opponent's things with Active Treasons. Active Treason's not that great, even if you have sack outlet. It builds your own removal spell. That's not great. But what if our Active Treasons we're doing double duty? Now when we use our Active Treason, we can target our Tariel to untap it to activate it again.
Yes, and Tariel doesn't let you choose. It takes a random creature out of your opponent's graveyard. So we're going to be, on top of sacrificing things with like Altar of Dementia, we're going to be using Crook of Condemnation and Timuret to like cultivate the cards in their graveyard so we can always get the best thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I love the like the randomness of it. It makes like a cool element of like, okay, there's unbeatable card,
Burnished Heart.
vanilla tutu.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll the. You got a bear.
You got a Burnished Heart.
Sometimes it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, so like active aggression, Angrath. Angrath, actually a pretty good commander card. You know, the Flame Chained? He's not even that bad. And then there's like Molten Primordial, just steal something on ETB. And the best part of this was the Nitpicking nerds. They did it again. They found a way to go infinite with Active Treason Tribal. You have like an Altar of Dementia and a Tariel, and then you throw Thornbite Staff on it. So when you steal their guy, you sack it, mill them, and now, Tariel untaps, and you're back where you started. You just mill everybody.
Yeah, so everyone just gets milled out when you do that. That's pretty sweet. I like the Active Treason thing because it's not really, Active Treason's, again, not a strong thing in Commander overall.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But when you add a little bit more flavor to it and you can do a little more different things with it, it gets a lot better.
The Nitpicking nerds flair, if you will.
Flair, yes. All right, this next one, this was one of mine. I really like this stupid idea. It's Hans Eriksson extra combats. Now, the most important thing about Hans Eriksson here is, well, he's going to die if we get any decent creature when he triggers. But what if he didn't die?
What if he didn't die?
What if he was indestructible? Well, we'd have to play cards that we would never tell you to play. Darksteel Plate.
That's a card we don't like at all. But in this goofy deck, I love it. There's also something I thought would be crazy is we want Hans to survive combat. So we want him to hit the opponent. We want to get extra combats. And we don't want him to die. Sword of Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice, Light and Shadow, Hearth and Home, any of the swords, especially the green-red protection ones, they're going to make him survive the fight, evade past your opponent's creatures, and give him a combat damage trigger when you hit. You take an extra combat damage, take an extra combat step, and then do it again.
Yeah, the most important ones are anyone that has green or has...
Feast and Famine is going to be the best.
Feast and Famine is going to be the best. Green or it has red, sort of... Fire and Ice also going to be very good because it has red and it's a decent sword.
Yeah, and if you sneak Hans through with Feast and Famine, you can actually go infinite with Aggravated Assault.
Yes. That's a combo that would just be in this deck naturally. But you get to you do the extra combats with like the Port Razor. Port Razor is super cool
because Hans throws him out. He's already in.
Yeah, exactly. He just throws him out and then fights him. Another really cool interaction with Hans here is if you have protection from a creature or something and it comes in off of his trigger, but it has Enrage. Oh no, now Hans triggers its Enrage to go off. That's sweet.
Yes, that's very cool. You can just cast a Heroic Intervention and then attack with Hans and he'll be okay.
Yep, exactly. I mean, the whole goal is Hans attacks and you just take an extra combat afterwards. And if you have Eldrazi finishers, well, Annihilator's probably going to do your opponents in.
Yeah, they don't get the first one, but then if you take extra combats, they get the next one and the next one, and they're done.
Swords won't protect them from the Eldrazi.
They do not care what you have.
Maybe if you have...
Hans isn't going to make it.
How many swords have been... There's enough swords that his toughness can get big enough.
There's 8 swords.
And then he kills your Eldrazi.
Yeah, then Hans is just like pimp slaps Ulamog out of the game.
No, it won't kill Ulamog. Luckily.
He'll only kill Kozilek.
He'll kill Kozilek.
And then he'll kill Emrakul.
Yeah.
Ulamog doesn't care.
Apparently, yeah. Imagine Hans with like 7 swords, just like, I can defeat...
What a beautiful day. He's like eating berries.
Yeah, but he's also killing Ulamog.
No, he's not killing Ulamog.
No, he's killing Kozilek, sorry.
Next this is the 8th out of the 10 decks we have. It's Firja Instant Tribal. This deck apparently just doesn't exist. I was looking, I'm like, hey, I wonder if anyone's done Firja Instant Tribal. You know, Firja is like the most overlooked legend ever made. No, I don't see anything. What I want to do is, first of all, I want to play Firja on turn 5 and have it die, because it's never not going to die. That's what happened in Limited too. But you're going to reanimate it, animate dead, persist, dread return. You're always going to have it on the battlefield, even if it dies. Then you just pack your deck full of a million like 1 mana instants and cantrips like Source of Plowshares. You're already playing that. Path to Exile, and then like Cling to Dust. You can cast over and over. I thought the adventure creatures would be sweet because you can cast Foulmire Knight and Giant Killer as one of the 2 spells you need to trigger Firja on someone else's turn, and then cast the other half on your turn to get the second spell.
Yeah, I might even try Murderous Rider. It's like it's a bad spell usually, but if it's going to help you draw a card, which it will in this situation twice, then it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, so the goal is to cast Firja and then untap, or have it die and untap and reanimate it, and then basically you're untapped anyway, and then get trigger, untap, trigger. And if you need finishers, well, we're already reanimating, so let's throw in Ashen Rider or like Avacyn Angel of Hope.
Yeah, those big fat dummies is the way you're going to end this one. You're going to do a bunch of drawing. You're going to get a ton of card advantage. And because you're doing so much drawing and card advantage, you might go over on card size if you cast a couple draws.
Discard our giant creatures.
Well, that would just suck, wouldn't it?
I think if you pull up with a Firja deck, you're going to get underestimated.
Yeah, Firja's, she looks very meh, but I think she'll play better than she looks.
Get the hardcore metal version. Maybe they'll take you seriously.
That is my favorite one of those arts.
What's next?
Well, it's Zagras, Deathtouch Pingers. This isn't a super original like idea of the Nitpicking nerds, but it seems so cool, and I've never seen it.
I mean, this is like the classic, oh, neat commander. I'm going to overlook it, says everyone ever. And so Zagras gives all your creatures Deathtouch. He comes down. He can even reduce himself a little bit if you've got the party members.
Yes. So first one we got here, Hooded Blightfang. Whenever a Deathtouch creature you control attacks, the defending player loses life and you gain a life. Oh, okay. That sounds awesome.
Just whenever a creature you control attacks, make a bunch of tokens, and then just kind of gives your 1/1s like double strike, but you gain life.
Yeah, the gaining life is going to be huge too because it's just this drain for free. You send and all your worthless creatures that are attacking have Deathtouch. They're going to kill whatever blocks them.
There's no blocking them, and now that your creatures have Deathtouch, we can take advantage of Goblin Chain Whirler, Goblin or Dagger Caster, I think it's called, just a regular Dagger Caster. They're going to deal 1 to everything, and just it's Plague Wind for 3 mana on a creature.
Yeah, so
okay.
There's 4 little examples here because Sharpshooter, Goblin Sharpshooter, and Deathbringer Thoktar, which I remember from Duels of the Planeswalker.
No, from Alara Reborn when I first started playing.
I remember from Duels of the Planeswalker. Regardless, these will also just result in Plague Winds, where you're going to be able to kill every single creature you want to kill.
Yeah, Chain Whirler and Daggercaster do it right away, and the other 2 do it individually whenever you want.
Yes. Next, Inferno Titan. I love Inferno Titan. Fits right in this deck perfectly. It comes down and it kills 3 creatures, and then
Triple
it attacks.
Murder.
Yep. And then it attacks and it kills 3 creatures, and then you untap again and it attacks and you kill 3 more creatures.
And I don't see how why are your opponents still playing creatures? They should have just board wiped or die.
Yeah. And I think this is my favorite one. Like, I love this card so much. It's Brash Taunter. It's a 5 mana 1/1 with an indestructible, but you can pay 2 in a red, tap it, and fight. Well, now if fight something, okay, that thing dies. It takes, let's say, 5 damage from whatever it was. Then that 5 damage is dealt to whatever opponent you want.
Right, and you just get some extra damage out of it. It's the slowest version. It's not as good as Goblin Sharpshooter, but it's pretty sweet.
It's cool. It is cooler than the 4 other ones. This card is so cool.
If you want to convert this deck to every card has Deathtouch, you throw in a Pestilent Spirit, and then you cast something like Blazing Volley, and you just Plague Wind for 1 mana because it has Deathtouch.
Yeah, there's a lot of those cards.
Electrickery.
Yeah, there's a bunch of deal 1 damage to all your opponent's stuff cards. There's probably 4 or 5.
This has got to be the deck for Pestilent Spirit.
I mean, if there is a deck for Pestilent Spirit,
which there isn't, it's this.
It's this. And the last one, well, BZ, what is it?
It's not so much a deck. It's more of a personalized challenge for anyone who's had some stale deck building issues. I tried this out with my competitive Carrier deck because it's my favorite deck. I was very near and dear to me, so I was I'm going to make this as strong as possible. And I got there, and it's really strong. But it's so strong that I can't really take it to the average play group anymore. So what I did was I challenged myself to build another Carrier deck, a second one, except none of the cards can be the same except obviously Carrier. So literally 0 cards overlap between the 2, and the decks play out like entirely different decks.
Yeah, I mean, well, even the lands. So if you were thinking the land base might have some, no. This one's playing all the temples. This one's playing
the snow-covered bases.
Yeah, the tap lands, because all the untapped lands, they're in the other deck.
Yeah, and it's been super fun. It feels like a totally different deck. I get to jam all my fun cards in that deck and just kind of sling spells basically the way the Rules Committee and Richard Garfield intended. And then the other one is all right, I'm going to try to win on turn 3, and I don't give up any power.
Yeah, and those are, I really like his version. That's the fun one.
Me too.
And hate the version. That's the other one.
Well, let's save it for the competitive games.
Exactly. I don't play competitive games, so I usually I sit out when the super competitive game, or I just go, all right, I'm going to be the fourth player, but I'm going to lose. Let's just know I'm really not participating.
Yeah. So if you have a deck that you love, but it's like the power level's weird, try to build a second copy. You don't have to worry about any of the dumb staples. No Soul Ring, no ridiculous. Your budget's going to be way cheaper too. So I would definitely recommend that too.
Yes. But that is our video. Those are 10 deck ideas for those maybe struggling with some deck ideas. Are they perfect? No, but
Yes,
they're cool.
no, they are.
Oh, they are perfect?
Yeah, I checked.
I actually didn't know that they were perfect. They're really cool ideas, and there's a lot of ways you can go with them. Though even, like, say we said, like, we do Reanimator with Firja. You don't have to do that. You can just go complete instant tribal.
Go cantrips.
I'm only playing on my opponent's turn. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to cast 2 instants on my turn, then 2 on your turn, then 2 on your turn.
Cast 2 instants on my turn as a flex. Yeah, though you'd also go to the link in the description. TCG Player is where it takes you. Buy the cards you were going to buy anyway, except now, whoa, we get a kickback on the order, and you didn't spend any extra money. Support the channel you love, and we love you for supporting us.
What's wrong with you? I didn't even say special shout outs to all of our patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. You guys are awesome, the lifeblood of the channel, and honestly, we could not do this without you.
We can't do it without you. We're not doing it without you. We refuse. If you all leave, we'll stop making content.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. I was thinking,
control.
I was thinking, is that not true? No, if everyone stops watching, there's no reason to make this. Who are we making it for?
Yeah, we make it because we want to entertain people.
Yeah, we're making it for you guys.
I mean, we got to do a tidbit.
Yeah, we do have to do a tidbit about our life. What's the tidbit?
Well, we can take our time thinking of it because we have extra time for the credits to be rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just load one up here. I guess Rick and Morty premiered yesterday.
Yeah, it did. We watched Rick and Morty yesterday. It was really enjoyable.
We haven't really talked. I don't think we've ever talked about Rick and Morty on the channel. Not that there's much to say. It's a pretty funny show, except the fans are kind of butts.
Yeah, it's a really funny show with a terrible fan base.
Yeah, there's like the fans who go, "Oh, Rick and Morty, yeah, I like that show," and then there's the fans who like have to yell like "Pickle Rick" in a crowded room or something.
Yeah, it's awful. They're like just saying Rick and Morty quotes randomly out of context for no reason when no one's listening is the worst.
Well, that actually,
and I wish I didn't have examples of people who did it, but I literally do.
I guess that translates over to there's a type of kind of like Reddit humor where you just like say things from Reddit, and half the time I don't even get what's going on, and I'm like, oh, all right.
I think they call this.
It's not for everyone.
I think they call it Zoomer humor.
No, Zoomer humor is different.
No, it's the worst.
Maybe we'll save Zoomer humor for the next tidbit.
Nope, I'll hang out right now. Zoomer humor is the worst.
We're going to save it for the next
one. Because I'm an old man, and I have officially reached old man status where the next generation, those dang kids.
Okay, we're saving it for next time, but I can tell you this time, I'm officially a Zoomer. I'm like the oldest you can be while still being a Zoomer, and I didn't know until like 6 months ago.
BZ is an old Zoomer.
I'm an old cranky Zoomer.
Peace out, Drive Scout.